strap. You know, we have two types of hair bonnets. We have the elastic type and we have the one with the strap, which I'll be showing in today's tutorial. Hello guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's tutorial I'll be showing you how to make a reversible hair bonnet with these two fabric. It's going to be a reversible hair bonnet that has a strap. There are two types of hair bonnets. You have the one that uses an elastic, like this one. This is a reversible hair bonnet with elastic, but in today's tutorial I'll be showing you the reversible hair bonnet with strap. This is convenient for people who like to adjust the strap to their desired fitness or tightness. So what we'll be needing for this tutorial is just our fabric, and the fabric measures around 30 inches by 1 yard. That's 30 by 36 inches. So this is about 30 inches, and then the length is about 36 inches. Okay, so what we're going to be doing, if you have a knowledge of cutting a circle skirt or flare, you would know that that is the basis for making a hair bonnet. So what we're going to do now is just fold our fabric into two, like this. Fold our fabric into two, like this. And then fold again till we get this point here, meaning we folded our fabric into 4 places. 1, 2, 3, 4. But remember that we're going to be having a strap right going around, so what we're going to do is just adjust this a little bit. We're going to adjust this a little bit, so we have about maybe 4 inches that we can use. So what we'll do is we'll fold our fabric, we'll still fold it into 4. This is 2, and then this is 4, and then this is 4. From this point where it is folded, as you can see, this point is folded. So from this point that is folded, from this point now, our bonnet is usually measured from here. It is usually 10 inches from here, or 11 or 12. 13 is a little bit too big, so if you're carrying maybe a very large hairstyle, so you may decide to go with 13, but I would personally choose 12 inches, because by the time I join it with half an inch allowance or 1 inch allowance, I'll have 11, which is pretty much standard. So we'll mark from this point here, from the tip of our folded fabric, we'll mark 12 inches here. On this point, we'll mark it on one point here. We'll go around, we'll place our tape rule like this. At this point, I've gone ahead to fold my fabric more, since I'll be using 12 inches, so I do not waste fabric. When you fold your fabric, make sure that it's the same thing on the other side. So this is what I'll do. From this point here, I'll place my tape rule and I'll mark 12 inches. 12 inches. I'll place my tape rule. Again, I mark 12 inches and connect to this point. I'll move my tape rule yet again, maintaining this point. This is 12. I'll mark again. I'll do that till I get to the end of the fabric. So I'll mark my 12 inches here. Then I'll place it straight. You cut along this line. You cut along this line. Remember, you have 4, so you cut along it. So we've gone ahead to cut it through, so we separate it. I'll open it and show you what it looks like. This is how big it looks like. You can see this is how big it looks like. We're going to cut another of this one. We're going to cut 2 with our second fabric. Don't forget, I also mentioned you can go with 10 inches rather than 12 inches, okay, if you feel this is too wide for you. You can either place your fabric on right side and then place the right side of your fabric on the right side of the second one you want to cut. Just cut it out round so that you don't waste fabric, but this is not what I'll be doing. I'll be folding it like I did this first one. This is what I'm doing for the second fabric. Just so when I'm done, I'll keep these ones aside for our belt. This is what it looks like. I've placed it over this one. This is right side facing right side, and so I placed it on each other. You can go ahead to pin it so that it doesn't move. I've gone ahead now to pin around my fabric to create an opening. This opening is to make your bonnet fit into your head when you put in your belt and all of that, because you know we'll be pinning it our head shape on your bonnet. You mark around 4 inches. 4 inches. 4 inches from the end of your fabric. From here to here is 4 inches. From here to here is 4 inches. And then you rule a straight line. You mark 4 inches from the edge of your fabric into your bonnet, 4 inches, and then you go 1 inch on both sides, okay? You mark 1 inch on both sides, 1 inch on both sides, 1 inch here, 1 inch here, and then you connect like this. So this is what it will look like, and then you cut. What you are cutting now is going to be an opening for your bonnet. Remember, we pinned it, so this is what we are going to do. And so we've cut out this piece now. We're going to go to our sewing machine now and sew half an inch from here. Half an inch. We're going to sew half an inch around this place. Remember, this is the wrong side, so when we're done sewing it, we'll turn it. I've sewn it and I have slashed it, and I also pressed my seam. I used the same thread for this side, the bobbin, and the same thread for this side of the top. Take out my pins and turn the fabric so I can see the right side. We'll turn it this way such that the good side is now facing us. Then I'll go and press it. I'll press around these edges and press the entire hairband. This is what it looks like pressed, properly pressed. What I'll do now is to pin it together on the edges. So round, I've gone ahead to pin round. Now the average head circumference is around some 20 something inches round, but here we have more than 60 inches. So from one end here I would go and run a gather stitch round up to this point, from one end round to the other end. After I've done my gather stitch, I'll gather my bonnet to about 23 inches wide. So I've gone to sew my gather stitch, and this is what it looks like around. So what I will do now is, on one end I'll pull on one end of the string and gather the rest of the circumference of the bonnet to give me 23 inches. This is how it should look like, but when you're pulling, please be careful so you do not cut you do not rip some of your thread, or you go on to sew 2 lines of gather stitch. Anyways, I've done this, and from one end of this opening, I'll measure from this point round to make sure I get 23 inches. Placing my fabric on fold, I have 24 inches, so I'll just pull it a little till I get 23 inches, which is 11.5 on fold. After doing that, the next thing I'm going to work on is getting our strap for the bonnet. As you can see, one side is blue, the other is brown, so we're not going to be cutting our strap on fold. We're going to be cutting it in such a way that one side is going to be blue and the other side is going to be brown. Round the bonnet is 23 inches, so we're going to cut 2.5 of that measurement, definitely more than 23 inches, so we can have something to tie. So I'll be working with, let's say, 60 inches. So the belt is going to be 60 inches long and 1.5 inch wide. It's going to be 1.5 inch wide, but I'll be cutting 2.5 inch because I'll be joining one side by 0.5 inch and the bottom side by 0.5 inch. That's a total of 1 inch. If I remove 1 inch from 2.5 inch, I'll get 1.5, which is the width of my band I want to work with. I don't want it to be too big, and you can decide to make yours as big as you want. That is left to you and your discretion. So this is the width I'll be working with, 2.5, and I'll cut 60 inches length for both the blue and the brown. This is my strap, and I have gone to join it to one side. I'm going to join both the black and the brown and the blue on one side. The other side is where we would be joining to the bonnet. So how do we go about that? This is the length of my strap. I'll get the midpoint, so I'll fold it into 2 and get the middle point. So this is my midpoint here, and I will notch. As you can see. So from this midpoint now, remember the bonnet circumference we're working with is 23. Half of 23 is 11.5. We would get half of our bonnet circumference on the strap. On the middle point of your strap, you place your 11.5 and then you notch. So I'll come here and just notch a little bit. So I know that my bonnet is going to start from here round to the other point. From our center to the 11.5, which is this point here, I'm going to turn this place all around this place. I'm going to turn it like I did for the top. So I'm going to go and turn it inside. So I'll turn it right side to right side, and I will sew from here round till I get to the 11.5 points that I marked. Then I will sew it and turn it. So here will be the rough edges. I'll do the same for the other side. I would go and turn it and sew from the end up to the 11.5 points and show you what's next to do. I've gone to sew my belt. Remember, I sewed one side and then I've gone ahead to sew the other side and pressed it. So you do that, but you do it so much better and neater than this. This fabric had a little bit of stretches here and there. Before you stitch on one side, please make sure to back stitch here so it doesn't lose, the thread here doesn't lose. And you come to this other side, make sure you also double stitch so it doesn't come off. Remember, from this center point we measured 11.5 on one side, 11.5 on the other side, so that we'll get a total of 23, which is the circumference of the bonnet. From this point to this point is 23 inches as I've gathered it. So what we're going to do now is from one end here, we're going to place it as you can see. The remaining fabric, I now folded the 1/2 inch sewing allowance. I folded it so that it will be easy for us to sew on top when we're joining it to this bonnet, because that's how we'll be able to sew it. We'll have to sew on top. So now you will have to get matching thread for the bobbin and for the top of your machine. And so we're going to pin this now. From this end here, you take in your bonnet and you attach it in. So attach it like this, making sure that the 1/2 inch of the under covers the 1/2 inch of the top, okay, so that you have a neat inside and a neat outside. So you're going to do that round the entire bonnet. This other part, the other end, you attach it here as well. You can go ahead to trim off this excess, which I'll be doing off camera. Trim off the excess so it's not bulky to sew, and then you just do like this. You place it like this and pin round as well. I'm done pinning, and this is what it looks like inside, and this is what it looks like outside. What I'm going to do now is, whichever side you want to be on top, you just go to your sewing machine and then you sew like 1/4 inch, really tiny, round the bonnet up until this place. And don't forget to lock your stitches on both ends of your bonnet. I'll see you when I'm done. I've gone ahead to do that now, to sew it. As you can see, this is it. This is what it looks like. So you can wear it both ways, right? You can wear it like this, this is what it looks like. And then you can decide to turn it. The beauty of this is that it is full and you can adjust it however you want to adjust it. So with that, we have come to the end of today's tutorial. If you found it useful, kindly like the video and kindly click on the subscribe button and share it as well to reach as many other people who will be interested in this DIY tutorial. See you in our next video. Bye bye.